What do my elf eyes see?
You don't see anything back there. You just, Benny kind of keeps up with you and then kind of falls back a few feet or 5 or 10 feet and fiddling with something here and there, and then catches back up and
Hey kid, what you doing?
Walking.
And like that, and like an adult knows something else is going on here.
And breathing.
And
having a snack. And she like bites the jerky.
Look, kid, if any adult is gonna enable you, it's gonna be me.
I love that so much.
So, I mean, if there's something else going on that you need to scope, let me know.
I made a little fox friend.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them here in the woods.
He's been we were playing and he's been following me, and then just making sure
once we get to the granny woman, we'll get you some boomer meat. They like that more than that gross jerky stuff the church does.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you go drop back a little later to drop some meat, and you see there's something glowing on the ground back there.
Like,
well, it's 20 feet back. It's small, but it's definitely got a bit of a greenish glow.
Oh, she's instantly gonna run back and look at what it is.
You get back there, and there is a mushroom that is bioluminescent, which you don't know what that means, but that's the effect. It is a glowing mushroom.
Right. Okay.
You don't see the fox.
What?
You don't see the fox. It keeps dipping in and out of the shadows. So
right. Well, I'm looking because I have a skill, ability called Living Off the Land, that has me trained in resisting the effects of natural poisons, such as those from plants or living creatures, and I'm also immune to natural diseases. So I'm wondering if I might have any sort of like ability to like kind of like look. Okay, well, actually, we're just going to skip ahead to what we know is going to happen, and she's going to pick the mushroom.
It's not, it looks like it was dropped on the ground, not like it's growing from the ground.
Okay, well, she's going to pick it up and then, like, catch up with everybody.
All right.
Are you holding it or are you hiding it?
No, I think I'm holding it, because, like, it's weird.
You ain't never
so
seen
I think I, like,
mushrooms.
hold it out, and I almost, like, as we get close, I'm like, do things glow a lot around here? And I'm like holding it out.
I wouldn't
down. Magnifier on. real too close for comfort almost. And
you see when the professor says don't eat it, Benny like looks at it like, well, I hadn't thought about that yet.
That's all I can think of. And I'm gonna identify objects.
Holding it up so you can identify it.
It is actually, Walter knows that there is a place somewhere around here he's heard called Foxfire Bald that supposedly has glowing mushrooms. You ain't never been there or seen it. No, not many people know where it is, apparently, because no one's been able to show you. Tegan, when you look at it, when you examine it, it is a mushroom like you have not seen that has a natural glow to it at night. It's got a green glow. It is a reddish blue mushroom with some odd circular spots on it that you have not seen this kind of mushroom before.
Where'd y'all find that at?
There.
Just laying on the ground?
Just laying on the ground.
I would suggest,
I
as
would
with
say-
most strange flora, cook it before you consume it.
I would also say it might be a little weird that we didn't see it until after we had passed it. But
Honestly, not the weirdest thing today.
not the weirdest thing in the last hour.
Yeah.
That looks
Okay.
like one of them. Looks like one of them glowing mushrooms from up on Foxfire.
Benny like perks up and is like, "What's Foxfire?"
Oh, it's just a place that gets told about around here. Miss Crandall, if she's still coherent.
Yes, sir.
Do you know offhand where Foxfire? You said bald.
Yeah, bald.
You know where
A bald
Foxfire
is the top
at?
of a hill or a mountain.
Mhm.
A rounded one.
Mhm.
I know, kind of. I ain't been there since I was a kid, but kind of remember how to get to it. It's not very close though. It's a good. It's some miles away. It ain't right next to the town or nothing.
Please describe it in great detail.
Yeah, would
Deacon
you be able to
suddenly
mark it
very
on-
like,
You know,
You
mark it
just
on a map
see-
or something.
You also see Benny like right behind you guys, like staring at the mushroom, and like a very low insight check would realize that she's thinking, "Did my fox turn into this mushroom?" While y'all are talking.
I mean,
This would have been
I
better.
couldn't do it at night. I was a kid when I went there once. Me and a friend of mine went, and it's like an empty top of a hill, you know, and when I was there, it did not have mushrooms that were glowing. It was a daytime, obviously, but it apparently only does it certain times of the year. A few times a year, you get the glow. That's what I've been told, at least.
Tegan's now running down the list of things she could possibly make that may or may not explode with glowing mushrooms.
Still staring at it.
I'm kind of afraid of what you're writing. You
Probably a good
okay,
idea.
kid? It's just a mushroom. Just don't eat it, and you should be all right.
Eat
talking
half
to
of
you?
it.
Is it talking to you?
And she
No, I'm just-
she takes a
if it
step
comes
away
from
from you as you're
Foxfire-
walking.
I was from Foxfire, and I was playing with a fox, and a lot of weird stuff is apparently happening around here. Did my fox turn into a mushroom?
Well, if it did, you might want to tuck that into your pocket there.
I mean, you got pocket bread, you got walking bread, walking meat, and now you got walking fox.
Tegan leans to Benny and is like, "Benny, if you eat it, only eat like half of it. Because you don't know
Benny
what effect it's
to
going to
lick
have."
it so bad. Benny's contemplating licking it. And then is like,
You hear a horse not too far.
That come from the
ahead.
mushroom?
No, it comes from right up
We're all
ahead.
hearing it now.
You are near Dazzy's house, and her horses are out by the road, staring you all down as you turn the bend.
Hey, bud, would you let Granny Woman no, we're here.
And the horses turn. One of the horses turns. It runs towards the house. The other one keeps itself kind of in a stance at the end of the road. And you hear the door open up ahead. You let them in. Come on, come on. And the horse sort of rises up. And it sort of steps off the side of the road. But when you pass it, it follows along, and its head is turned sideways, looking at Erwin the whole way.
I'd be looking at her and I'm going to tap my hat.
He's quite the looker.
Well, he also stole something last time we were here.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah.
Well, come
And I wanna
on
make
up.
sure-
Come on up.
I'm gonna make sure she knows about the she got a piece of the bleeding tree.
I'll just
Be
make
careful.
some lemonade. Come in, come in. And you got a little one. How about that?
Isn't this like the second time in like a
Yeah.
it might even be the same day that we've seen her.
It's the day after.
Okay.
Hey again, Gazzy.
Well, I see Miss Crandall's got a bit of a limp. Do we have an injury that needs to be taken care of?
And just like take her
I do,
aside.
Gazzy. I apologize to come in the evening, but it is sore and could use a good looking.
Tegan not so subtly gesturing.
Well, come on in. I just made some lemonade. I hope you don't like it. You don't mind it being too strong. And you go up on the porch and what are you doing, Benny?
Oh no, I was just about to say the others have been here, but this is Benny's first time there.
Yeah.
And when we cross the threshold of the wards, does Benny feel or react to anything?
I don't think you would feel anything.
Okay. Okay.
And she opens the door, and when you go in, there's the distinct smell of food being cooked. I hope y'all brought some appetite. I cannot eat all this on my own.
What you got cooking, Gazzy? This smells awesome.
I am making a recipe from my cousin from New Orleans. Red beans and rice. You ever had that? I did make
it
some
sounds
cornbread.
good,
I
though.
hear it's good with it.
Oh yeah, that sounds like it would be good. And I bet you this kid's probably at least I was at that age a bottomless pit. So I'm sure anything
Yeah.
you got left over she can.
It kind of comes with the territory. They got lots of growing to do, so I think they could actually eat themselves own weight if you give them enough pressure in a day. So you hungry?
Well, I got some pocket honey to go with the cornbread.
Pocket honey.
Now that sounds like a good way to go. Come sit down. And as you go through, Benny, you know that there is in the room to the right, there is a glass orb with just a little hint of a glow in it. It's a dark room too. It's not lit up there. In the middle of a round table. Come on, lemonade's ready. The food is just about done. Have a seat. Or if it was warmer, we'd sit out on the porch, but it's a little too cold for that. All right, Miss Crandall, you want to take care of that before or after we eat? We could wait. I wouldn't mind having a little food first.
Like behind Miss Crandall. Like,
Why don't I just take a look at it real quick, and then we can. And then Miss Crandall looks back.
oh no, yeah. Oh look! That wasn't here last time.
All right, sit down here. Let me see your injury. And she pulls
While
her
they're
leg
distracted
back.
with that, Benny fully slips into the glass orb room.
Okay. Yeah, that.
Everyone else walked past it the first time.
Yeah.
The child curiosity is not going to walk past.
And when you get over there, I mean, it's in the middle of a table that's long enough you can't reach it at your size. You're small. It's a big table. It's got a lot of chairs all the way around it too, and it has a bit of a glow. Not only does it have a glow, it's like there's smoke inside it, just sort of swirling real slow.
Ooh. Okay. But like is there like a nice tablecloth? Is there
Yeah.
like candles or decoration or anything?
Oh yeah, this room is decorated like someone with a bohemian lifestyle and
Okay.
taste. Wicker
Okay.
things
She doesn't
everywhere,
crawl on the
sticks.
table then. If it was a bare table, she was going to crawl on it, but she's not going to crawl on the nice tablecloth. She quickly loses interest and goes back out into the living room.
Walter, why don't you plate up the food for everyone while I take a look at this leg? It would be good to have this stuff ready out and us start eating as soon as I'm done here. I mean, and she looks at it and goes, so what happened here? I got poked by a tree. You mean a tree reached out and poked you? No, I got a splinter in there. I cannot seem to get it out. And she doesn't touch it. She's looking at it like, what tree, if you don't mind me asking? And she looks around at everybody. The bleeding tree.
Benny's holding a little piece of cornbread and goes, "Oh, is that the bleeding one?"
Yeah, it's that one. So you went and messed around with that thing and you got poked pretty bad, I see. So what happened when you got poked? I don't know. My boys took me home. I don't remember what happened after. Oh, sounds like you got poisoned by it. And it sounds like it looks to me like this wound ain't getting any better. When did you get poked? A few days ago. I don't know, a week maybe. Not too long. Well, you know, a splinter isn't supposed to get worse and bigger. They're supposed to get better and smaller. Like, that's how normal splinters would go. Yeah, that's why I got some medicine. You got medicine instead of coming to me?
I love how offended she is.
Yeah, it's like
I was a bit, I thought you might be worried or not be happy about me going to the tree. I didn't want anyone to know it was an accident this happened. Yeah, everybody be offended, not just me. I'm pretty sure everybody in this room is offended, except maybe Benny, who don't know what it is, I suppose. Do you know what the bleeding tree is, Benny?
It's a tree that will eat children if they get too close.
I mean, that's not a bad description. Do you understand that description?
he did very proudly behind Kate.
Randall?
Smart kid.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I was considering cutting it down so that it'd stop scaring everyone in town and whatnot. And
so you could make a lot of money. Don't forget to leave that.
Yeah, it got you back, I guess. It don't want to be cut. All right, let me look. Let me dig into this. Give me a second. And she goes over and she goes into the kitchen and she actually pulls out a knife.
I got one too. Flips open.
Yeah, that thing's in deep. This ain't gonna feel good. You know that, right? You said you got some medicine. What kind of medicine you got in there? It was hydrogen peroxide, iodine. Well, you may as well take them both out. You're gonna need both, I think. You'll need the iodine after and the hydrogen peroxide before. Tegan, you wanna help me with this?
Yes, ma'am. And I'm also gonna reach into one of my many pockets and pull out a little jar to unscrew for the splinter.
And her eyes widen. We came here so that Tegan didn't have to do it. Well, you shouldn't have got poked by that tree if you wanted to be picking your doctor and whatnot. That's not how it works. You got two doctors here. We're gonna work together and make sure you're right as rain. All right. Mr. Hayes, could you grab me that stick up there? It's in the jar. And you go to where the jar is, and you realize that it's the jar that you took. It's right behind the jar. And she doesn't even look at you. She just waits for you to get the stick. And there's a stick
slowly. Here you go.
All right. You're going to need to... Now, this stick is for your mouth.
Oh, gee.
All right?
I told you, a stick is good for a lot of things.
Tegan is right about that. So what you want to do is you want to clamp down, because when Tegan goes cutting this thing out, you're going to want to scream bloody murder. That is a for certain.
Tegan's also gonna take off her belt and be like, "Do we want to like, in case?"
Maybe the boys there could hold her down so she don't kick and get cut more. Oh.
Walter, you take that side. Doc, you take that side.
All right.
Benny, you might not want to look at this.
And she closes her eyes and looks away.
Benny, grab a leg.
All right,
Benny
Tegan.
does not. Benny fully does the Homer Simpson thing back into the other room.
Nobody wants to see this.
Who's gone?
Atta girl.
I half expected like a bucket of cornbread, like.
And Benny, you step
That might
into the
be
other
where
room.
she is now.
You step into the other room and you almost immediately hear "Ah!" This is bloody murder being screamed as Tegan digs in. And all right, you gotta wiggle it up. You gotta pull it up. You can't go over it. You gotta go to the side of it and pull it up from the side. And you do all this, and it takes some patience and a little pain. Well, a lot of pain, not for you, of course. And you pull out a thorn that's 2.5 inches long that was all the way down, almost to the bone, it seemed. Whoa.
I'm gonna pop that in the jar and just close it. And
That was quite a thorn you got. I think I know why you passed out.
Oh, I got some for that too. Let's pull out some smelling salt.
All right. And she grabs a cloth, damps it down, pours some iodine on, and she goes, all right, let's eat. Come on in, Benny. All the yucky part's done.
I think Benny went to the kitchen and like started scooping. There's a little bit of a mess now because Benny was like, oh, well, Walt can't help set the table. So Benny tries to like scoop out and is sitting there eating her own little plate with like other plates that have like a little bit of rice on the side.
Right.
And she's just sitting there eating her own little plate like, good? Yeah.
Well, come on in. You can sit with all of us. Well, bless your heart. You are one hungry little kid, aren't you?
She's almost done with the food. And I think when she's walking through, she leans into Tegan. I think you mentioned I might be able to get some boomer meat.
Oh yeah. There's always boomers around here. We can do that for the class before we leave.
I could help you with that in a bit. We're gonna eat first, if you don't mind.
Okay.
And she sits down and brings the food over, the cornbread, the red beans and rice, which tastes amazing. It's a bit on the spicy side. It's thicker than a soup, not quite a stew. But boy, the rice absorbs that bean juice. Whew. And the cornbread is the most perfect thing to go with it.
About a little bit of Walter's honey on the cornbread.
Honey, And the accompaniment, of course, is the spiked lemonade that is spiked pretty damn hard. Would you like some lemonade there, Benny?
It will help you not feel.
All right.
Tegan just stops at the not feel because, like, yeah, it's gonna numb you.
And Miss Crandall sits and eats and thank you for helping me. Well, a thank you is nice and all, but you have to make remuneration too. Of course, I'll pay you a little. I got a little bit of money on me. Great, enjoy your cornbread. Let's continue. And you continue eating, and Miss Crandall looks super nervous just the whole time, just like surrounded by people who know her secret, and you can tell it's very disconcerting, and she still can't quite stop taking glances at Professor Hayes, nervous.
He stares at her every time. Every time she looks over, their eyes just meet for a moment.
All right, well, we can, after you finish eating, it's like, well, I do have other things to do this evening. I cannot just have everyone staying all night. It was very nice to meet you, Benny. Anytime you need anything, you just let me know. Let me get you some. You said you wanted some boomer meat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got a little pet friend.
Oh, all right. And she goes
Made
down
friends
into
with a little local fox, apparently.
Oh, I see. Oh, a lot of foxes around here. They're very, very cute. She goes out in the back, and comes back a few minutes later, and there's a carcass. It's been skinned and everything, and she cuts off some meat and says, "I hope this will be enough. Your little fox friend, your little friend, probably will enjoy this." And she wraps it up in some paper.
Thank you.
All right. Nice to see you, Mr. Gwynnon. Hope the hive is doing great. And Tegan, you're always welcome too.
Yeah.
And Mr. Hayes, it's nice to meet you again.
Thanks again.
Pleasure.
I will see you all later. And she walks you to the door. And the horses are outside there. And as you walk by, the one horse does the same thing, neck turned at you as you walk down. You leave him alone. He's all right. The horse.
I try to pat it. Attaboy.
It pulls away. It does not let itself be patted.
Worst idea.
And you get off the property. Where are you all going now?
I guess we're heading back to my place. Unless, Walter, you want to stop by yours before we hit the shack?
Yeah, I probably should. I think, isn't your place on the way?
I have no idea.
No, your place is on the way to her place.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I should probably go check on my ladies real quick and just make sure they're doing all right.
That reminds me, Walter, while you were in the store, I noticed those two chaps that were looking for you. And we were going to the hotel, but they came from the direction of your house.
I don't like the sound of that. Yeah, let's go check on the property, make sure they didn't break in or nothing.
And you get, it takes some time to get over there. And Benny, you get to see some parts of the wood you ain't seen, of course, in this area. All on the other side of the town you have not visited. And you go into the woods and you get to Walter's house. It is a very nice house. Handcrafted workmanship, but I assume Walter don't go to the house at all first. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. House first.
As you exit the tree line, though, Benny, you realize there are bees all over the place around here, kind of buzzing around. No, they're not. There are a few bees, not a ton of them, here and there, and one or two are in Walter's beard, kind of walking along them or around them.
That's weird. I don't think Benny would react much to the bees. She's not allergic.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But it's just something you would notice. It's winter.
Yeah.
Most bees are not buzzing about. They're staying warm in the hive. You get out there.
You ever seen a beehive before?
No?
You want to?
Okay.
And
What is a beehive?
You know what? You know how back at Gazzy's we had the honey to put on the cornbread?
Well, yeah, bees make honey.
Yeah, that's what we get out of these hives.
Oh.
Yep. This is it's like a factory full of bees. This is where they make it. And then I open up the hive, and if I don't know, Benny's tall enough or whatever, but I lift her up to see. They're all working right now. They're all trying to stay warm.
Their wings are buzzing about, and there's actually a noticeable difference in temperature, kind of rising, a little warmth rising out of the top of it, and they're just everywhere in there.
That's pretty cool.
as we take a peek into the hive, do we notice anything? Do we notice any? Or I guess but do I notice anything different about the bees' behavior today?
Yeah, you recognize in the dirt right next to the hive a footprint that you have seen before.
Can I tell whether or not that they opened up the hive?
Well, no. I mean, you opened the hive, so maybe not. I don't think. I mean, the bees seem to be all okay.
Okay.
If they didn't seem to do anything.
Okay, they don't appear to be jostled. Am I able to see the queen?
If you spend some time, you can find the queen buried in there with all the other bees, in among them deep.
Okay. Benny, you see down that one? You see that bee right there? See how she's real big?
Uh-huh.
That's the queen. That's all of these bees' mother. And they're all sisters.
Huh.
Don't think about it too hard, kid.
Benny's not. Nicole's trying to think of how to react to this. Benny's, this is cool. I'm learning something.
And you're a big fan of animals of all kinds.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's definitely not hesitant. You do notice that. Like, she's not, she, like, sticks her head in, and she's, like, unfazed.
As Walt starts closing the hive back up, pulls a bee off of Benny's nose. Oh, you got one on your nose there. Puts it back into the hive. Do I notice any more evidence? Well, I guess I'm looking for evidence of two things. One, more footprints aside from the one right next to the hive, and two, any evidence of more of those robber flies.
Not the robber flies. There are a couple of footprints, in the dirt. It looks like coming from that point in the woods that you had seen them before.
Did they just stop at the hive, or did they go all the way to the house?
They stopped at the hive, and then they turned and left.
Mm-hmm. And the bees aren't acting any different. I don't like that. Professor, looks like our friends from town have stopped by.
Are your bees okay?
They don't look any different, but I don't like the fact that they've been playing with them.
Maybe we ought to pay these boys a visit. Get to the bottom of this.
Where did you say you've seen them going?
The hotel.
I think Tegan's been processing that someone's been to Walter's property twice now. Does not like that, and is just like, we can set up a few deterrents at the property line if you like.
Well, normally I would assume that my bees would keep them out. I'm willing to bet that these folk from wherever they're from, if we find them, I'm willing to bet that they got a couple of stings on them too.
They're from Cornwall.
Mm.
At least that's what Professor Hayes had told you the other day.
Well, I mean, we can make sure they have more than a few stings next time if you want.
What'd you have in mind?
I mean, Tegan's just
Never mind.
We
I
can't
should have
blow
known
'em
better
up.
than to ask you that question. List goes.
Most of them are in the wheelhouse that you would expect, but we can do less damaging things, I guess.
At least to start with.
Yeah, why don't we something to see if people have been here aside from just some footprints would be great.
Now I have finding and identifying crafting materials, and we are in the woods, and I'm assuming between the woods and like Walter's house and maybe like some sort of shed by the house for his beekeeping.
Oh, I got all kinds of bits and bobs. Not
I
nearly
can
as
find-
many bits and bobs as your place.
Yeah. Find enough things to maybe give us like an alert system. Not like system like ping on a computer, but like a lot of noise and make it very obvious if someone is.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah.
And you spend your time checking the bees. And then are you heading to Tegan's then?
I think we build what we can here, be it some tripwires or some
All right.
Alarms or something like that, and then we're gonna head. Y'all want to head toward the hotel and have a conversation or two?
Yeah. And Tegan's gonna add just a little spice to the things that they build so that it does hurt them. But like more like on the end of like light maiming.
All right. So you set up your
my home defense system.
Your harming warning.
I'm going home alone on this.
The precursor to ADT.
Do you test it?
I'm not mean enough to make anyone test it, but I think Tegan picks up a stick and is like, I told you these have a lot of purposes, and like, yeet. Yep,
like,
let's reset.
That might maim a bit.
Yeah.
And you head out, you get to town after it takes some time, of course, because you're so damn far. It's pretty late at night, and the party is going on again at TJ's. There is much drinking going on. People are dancing. The music is playing. Another night of this. But maybe one of the last ones ever.
Do we spot them in the crowds like they were the other night, or do we think they'll probably hold up at the hotel?
You don't spot them.
Okay. That would be too easy.
There's not another effigy tonight, is there?
No, there is not.
Okay.
It was just the first night.
No more weird artifacts we have to deal with in the morning. All right.
Ask around, or we could go to the hotel. Yeah.
Benny, when y'all decide to go to the hotel, Benny goes, I don't think I'm much good at this interrogating stuff. Y'all mind if I like just go to the edge of the woods to like feed my little fox? I won't go far from the town. And we'll just come back out when you are done.
I don't like that idea all that much, Benny. I just don't want you to get hurt. If you want to go feed your fox friend, we'd be happy to go with you.
Tegan just pulls out her knife and is like, here you go, Benny.
Benny pulls out the only item she's actually carrying, which is her little pocket knife. She's like, I got a Benny-sized one.
Here, here's a bigger one.
takes the Tegan-sized one.
Here.
Yeah, I got this.
There's a stab and twist. Stab and
twist. I didn't know the twist part.
Yeah.
Okay. But also, people here seem kind of nice, and she like pockets the big knife. I promise I won't go far.
Something happens, you yell.
Walter is very, very torn about this because on the one hand, he really needs to go have a conversation with these folks, but on the other hand, losing another child would be devastating.
Benny doesn't know that, but you probably can also tell that Benny's like real scrappy. Like she's made it 11 years living on the streets. She probably could hold her own. She also doesn't know about the supernatural things. But she also has large puppy dog eyes and wants to go find her fox.
Tegan probably also like sees Walter's worry and like pulls out the like flashlight and is like, maybe also take this.
Look, we could. Those guys aren't going anywhere, right? We could.
No, you guys could go. You never know. They're probably gonna disappear.
I mean, that would
You should probably
honestly
go
be a good
interrogate
thing.
them.
Take away.
Listen, so Walter gets down on. Is Benny a tall child at 11?
I know nothing about children. Benny's an 11-year-old guy's child.
None of us do, apparently.
Okay,
All
so
would be like
normal
5
size.
feet.
I'm
You
just gonna
definitely
guess.
have to like bed down, but yes.
So Walter's a fairly large man. He gets down like kind of knees ish. He takes a knee and like grabs you by the shoulders. Now you listen here. If you hear anything, no, you didn't. If something calls your name, no, it didn't. And you run.
Okay.
If you see
Got it.
something,
I
no,
promise.
you didn't.
I promise.
And if something goes wrong, you come running to find us. You know where the hotel's at?
She points to right in front of where we're standing.
Are we in front of the hotel?
Kidding, no.
I feel like we stopped in front of the hotel.
No, that was a joke. She points to the direction of the hotel.
He like shifts your hand by just a skosh. I'm serious. I don't want you getting hurt.
Promise.
Otherwise, we'll have a certain Bartimaeus feller to be answering to too.
And he can get demons out of people, so I don't think you want to mess with him.
Yeah. All right. Well, go tell your fox friend who said hello and tell him that it's welcome to stop by anytime.
Oh, and hey, Benny, stay away from the giggle water while you're at it, all right?
Promise.
While
Scatsonic.
while I have Benny's shoulders, can I encourage one of my bees to like perch on Benny's shoulder?
Do you want to do it without her noticing, you mean?
It wasn't intended to be noticed, but if it is noticed, that's not the end of the world.
Sure.
Okay, so yeah, you now have a little a walking bee.
Do I need to roll to see if I notice it, or
you'll eventually notice. It won't take long. I mean,
okay.
But you do notice there's a bee on there after you leave. Not too long from then.
I don't know if I'm able to do this, but as part of my Masters the Swarm,
Mm-hmm.
I have a... Where's it at? I can spend one intellect point and influence a swarm, master one type of small creature, and they respond to me in number. Granted, I just want the one to basically hang out with Benny and make sure that everything goes okay.
It'll stay with Benny as long as it can and it's safe.
Okay. That's all I'm asking of it.
Yeah.
Okay,
all right.
That's everything for me.
Then you head out, Benny?
Yes.
What do you do about the bee? Anything?
That depends.
It does not.
No, Ben, that's not what Benny's. That doesn't depend on anything. Do I see when I get to the edge of the forest and maybe like a couple feet in, do I even see the fox?
You get to the forest and you hear the kind of sounds you had heard before. The scritching around underneath the brush and whatnot.
Okay. So Benny takes the bee and tries to coax it onto her finger.
It'll go on your finger.
Okay. And she looks at the little bee, and she goes, "You look like you can fly really fast. So keep up. and then she puts the bee on a leaf, and she takes out the little the boomer meat. She puts it in her mouth, and then she goes into the bush. And I'm going to spend 3 intellect points and a level of effort, and out the other side of the bush comes another fox.
All right. And soon afterward, you find there is another fox staring you eye to eye underneath the bush. And it looks like the fox you were with before.
She'll
jump in with excitement.
She little toss dropping the meat to share the meat, and then is also very playful.
It shares the meat. It gobbles up, and then it starts running and playing in the middle of the night. And
Benny follows and is playing with a little fox.
And you start running, and it knows this territory. You can tell this fox is a local. You run, and you see it jump over a small creek. Creek. What am I, northerner? Creek. Leaps over, lands on some rocks, and it stops and waits for you. It is bigger than you, by the way. You are the equivalent of a child of a tween fox.
Oh yeah. Benny will attempt to make the jump. Beast form of fox does not have his special ability is fast. Yeah. Doesn't have any other, but we will. Benny definitely tries to make it, and I really feel like Benny doesn't make it and ends up in the creek.
You end up in the creek, and it's really cold.
And it is Foxy paddling across to get out of the creek, soaking wet.
And it continues running and playing, and you're just, as you're playing and stuff, you're obviously going in directions you're not familiar with, and you're taking in the smells and the scent and the view at night, which is amazing because as a kid, you don't really have that kind of sight for that. And then it takes a while, and then you see up in the woods and a place that's a glow, like a green glow.
And it looks. Benny goes towards it because it's she thinks, oh my gosh, this is the foxfire they were talking about. And Benny goes towards it.
And you end up inside. You still understand the aesthetics of a beautiful place. You still have some of your own mind. And it is a place unlike anything you've ever seen. There is a natural green glow that kind of wraps around this open sky. You can see the stars all alight. The moon is near full. And you see there are 3 or 4 other foxes in here running and playing and sliding across the mushrooms. And some of them are chewing down on the mushrooms themselves. And they are just having a time foxes are playful. These foxes, they look like they don't stop playing. They are just having an amazing time.
Benny does the same thing. Benny mimics it. She, because of the level of effort, retains most of her human mind, but also just fully embraces the fox thing and is mimicking what they're doing and nibbles. I might regret this. Nibbles on a few mushrooms, but it's just playing.
It doesn't take
a baby fox.
Yeah, it doesn't take long, and boy, the mushrooms give you kind of an energy that you did not have before. And not only an energy, it changes the view of things a bit. Everything becomes distorted in a way that you have not experienced. And the stars, they don't just they're just not a light in the sky. They're like moving and swirling. And it doesn't take long before you see yourself playing and you realize you're outside of yourself. And your fox self is running wild on its own.
Oh, man. Last night I drank, tonight I did drugs. Other part of Maze is going to be so mad at me.
And your fox continues playing, and it breaks the tree line and disappears over the hill again. And you don't know where it went.
Ruh-roh. How long do I think it's... Do I... do I have any sense of how long I've been out here?
You probably think you've been out here an hour or two. Running and playing. Maybe. I mean, you don't really have a great way of tracking is the moon movement or the stars, but you don't use that like that.
I think Benny will keep an eye out for her fox, but realize that, I mean, in her mind, it's probably about to be morning in her mind. And she thinks she's going to get in trouble. So she, like, is looking and, like, sniffing for her friend, but is also trying to head back towards the town.
All right. Yeah, you're looking for yourself while you... I mean, they say when you're on drugs, you can find yourself. Let's see about that.
I hope so.
While you're playing back there, we're going to go over to the hotel and see what happens with Walter and Tegan and Professor Hayes. You had just dropped off Benny and the Benny and the Bee. And you were at the hotel. What you doing?
Professor, did you get a good look at those fellers that were headed from my property?
Yeah, I've seen them. I spoke to them the night of the party, in fact.
All right, well, I'm going to let you run point here a little bit, then. Let's go see what they're up to real quick first, and then I guess let's see if we can find them for one, and see what they're up to before we start our next interrogation session.
Do we know who runs the hotel?
Yeah, you know the hotel owner. I do not remember their name.
Yeah, I was like, I don't remember their name either.
I'd have to look in my book and it'd take me too long. I'll go with hold on. Maybe I do need to look it up.
Oh, actually, I actually have the book open. The local knowledge, at least.
Angry Rabbit Guest House and Dining Hall, Hotel and Restaurant.
But does it say the proprietors?
It does not.
Okay. I do have, then I have it on my other list. Give me a second. I'll pull it up. It is, the proprietor's name is Watts. It's Murray Watts.
Probably hit Murray Watt up first. He ain't a big fan of strangers. This ain't, gestures at hotel.
It'd be a good one to ask if he's seen anybody, if they're here as well.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea to me. Good place to start as any.
Maybe you talk to him just because, some stranger coming and asking him questions he might not appreciate.
Good point. Good point.
Well, they do buy honey from you for the restaurant.
Well, in that case, I walk in to their reception area, and
The counter.
is Murray? That's a dude?
Yes, Murray Watts is an older gentleman.
Evening, Mr. Watts, if he's behind the counter.
He is behind the counter. Mr. Gwynnon, you here for the party?
I'm here on a bit of an errand. There's a couple of fellers from out of town from, oh geez, what was the name? Start with the C.
Cornwall.
From Cornwall area. Have a hankering feeling that they might be staying here. Does that ring a bell to you?
It does. That's Reese and Owain.
You say those names one more time?
Reese and Owain?
Reese and Owain. Hey, you know anything about them fellers?
They have been asking about the honey makers around. They've bought some honey from different beekeepers.
Interesting.
Why?
Seems
Were
they
they
found...
They're asking for you?
Yeah, it seems they just missed me. Are they in?
I don't know if they're in. I know. Would you like me to send the porter to go check?
I can just go up there and stop by the room if that's all right with you.
They're in room 7.
Room 7.
Right down the hall and to the left.
All right. Thank you very much. And I turn back to Tegan and the professor. And what do y'all think? Y'all want to go have a conversation with him?
Yes, but I'm just gonna. I know I distrust strangers. It is our way. But these people seem especially suspicious. They're supposedly buying up honey, but they don't actually talk to you. Instead, they go and check out your hives themselves.
This might be a little suspicious, but what do you think about this? What if we have and this is a little hush hush. This is not, well, Mr. Watts is probably hard of hearing at this point. What do we think about having Mr. Watts have his porter run up and get those folks from out of town, and I'll be waiting for him here in the lobby area. But Tegan, why don't you take like an exit area, make sure they don't just run off because they know we're looking for them.
We could have Doc here pretend like he's going to a room at the same time in case they do something extra suspicious when they're notified you're downstairs from them.
Yeah, I'll get behind him.
When a plan comes together.
Haven't seen the dog recently terrify someone. Tegan's like, oh.
So you have the porter going fetch them.
Ready? Break! Go team!
Jeez.
The porter heads over. He comes over when you call him. You wanted me to see if they want to come speak with you? Is that the idea?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, and I hand them
they ain't here. I think they're over at TJ's at the party.
Oh. All right. Well,
Or they were before. I saw them leave not more than an hour ago.
Every part of me, Robby, wants to break into their room.
Tegan also wants to break in, so like, I can enable you.
I think I left some things in my room. Do you mind if I go get them? That I was saying there originally.
Oh, who are you saying that to?
to the porter.
Oh, sure. I can help you with that. What room are you in?
No, I don't need any help, but I just need to go grab something I left under the bed.
Oh, of course.
We can help him.
Of course, Mr. Winnan. And you follow Professor Hayes down the hall, turn the corner, and you are standing in front of room 7. Lucky 7.
Just because this pops up in every TTRPG game ever, I'm first going to check that it's locked.
It's locked. It is locked. It is locked.
Okay.
They know about defensive structures, too.
Before we try singing to the door and breaking down the door.
Yeah, is it locked? So Tegan's gonna get real close to the lock, pop down that magnifying glass, and be like, what do I gotta do to not destroy this door, but also get it open?
And you can pick this lock in 2 minutes flat with all your tools and equipment and whatnot, with a successful roll, of course.
Yeah. Let's do this.
I'll offer aid too. I'm trained in lockpicking, so I'll be like, "Oh,
Why
I
am I
recognize that lock." You want to angle just not to. I'm sure you know what you're doing, but if you angle just down a little bit, turn, and when it's halfway, explain.
So I rolled a 12.
All right. With assistance, you that 12 becomes a 15.
And just a pop.
And the door unlocks because of the assistance of the professor, who really does seem to know what he's talking about.
Suspicion bar.
Jimmy and a lock.
Raised.
And the door opens, and Walter, you immediately smell the sugariness of honey. And even though the light is off, there is some light streaming in from the window. And there are some jars of honey in a garbage can. Mostly full, look like they've been opened once. There is there is a bed made. On the desk under the window, there is an envelope and some writing utensils, and there is a piece of paper sitting out with a drawing of your G logo.
Huh. Okay.
And the paper looks aged some. It does not look new. It looks like it has been weathered over time some.
What looks weathered? I'm sorry.
The paper is weathered and folded. Like, it is not freshly drawn. It is older.
So they didn't come and take a drawing of my G. It was a picture so they knew about it. Oh my goodness. The plot thickens. Am I able to tell anything about the jars of honey? Am I able to tell where they're from?
Yeah, they're local. They're relatively local beekeepers. You know their honey.
Okay. I don't notice anything of mine in their room, do I?
You do not.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, what's there is, the paper with the little drawing, the envelope, the honey stuff. They do have a little box with stuff for tasting honey and all that, almost like a kit for sampling.
Why are they throwing away so much honey?
I don't know. Are they some kind of gourmet people or looking for some kind of special honey?
I mean, they looking for apparently yours.
Yeah, Professor, you seem to like the G that it was on my hive. They somehow seemed to know what they were looking for before they got here.
It's an old symbol. As you pointed out, it actually goes back quite some time. But have you sold your honey outside of this town?
I do a little bit of just outside of here, but not a whole hell of a lot.
And you don't have to put logos and stuff on it. The only place you got that symbol actually is on your hive. It's not like you make labels and all that. You write things on it with your pen.
Would I be able to notice if these folk were family?
You don't recognize the name. The name's Reese and Owain.
Do they have a last name?
They didn't give one.
Okay. And there's nothing in this room that would be like, oh, that's Uncle Daryl.
Yeah.
Hey, Mom.
I'm gonna start snooping through things, clothes, jackets, things like that.
When you go through the jacket, you find a couple pieces of kind of stiff paper in one of the pockets.
Unfold it. Is it
Don't
folded?
make a mess of the place, Doc.
When you unfold it, it is tickets on a ship to the Barry docks, Dockyard Bottery, which is in Wales, in the town of Barry, Vale of Glamorgan. It's a few miles southwest of Cardiff. That is not Cornwall, though.
Wales.
Did you say Wales?
And then it dawns
Country,
on
not
you
the animal.
that you knew they didn't speak, that Cornwall accent wasn't right. But they could have had a Welsh accent that they were trying to hide. Your linguistic capabilities, that could be.
You know any people abroad there?
And there are names on those tickets, by the way. It's Reese Schoen and Owain Schoen.
And I'll point that out to Walter. Last name Shaun from the Wales is you see it's between kind of, there's Britain and there's Ireland and Scotland, and in the middle of all that is Wales.
Professor, that's where my kin come from.
Oh.
We got a long line of history of mead makers and beekeepers going back a long time. In fact, my hive, my ladies are from Wales originally. That hive is older than you or I or anybody in this room put together.
Walt?
Did you see?
You have heard that name shown.
Could they be here to take your bees?
Did you steal them?
No, I didn't steal. No, they were given to me by my father and his grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Your grandfather's sister, Bowen Vaughn, was married to a Schoen.
My grandfather's sister.
Yep. You know that name from a long time ago.
I think they're here for your bees.
Walt isn't thinking this out loud or saying this out loud, but he's thinking back to rumors that he heard as a child and as he grew up that he was never quite told the truth about where his bees come from, or really when his bees came over to the States. But there was a rumor that that the bees were stolen, that his grandfather stole the bees and just brought them over with him. Walt looks very troubled. Y'all, this might be some trouble.
What he's saying is no little Mame anymore. We go back to this side of things.
That's a big thing. I think we need to find find Reese and Owain, and I think we need to have a right conversation.
Well, a quick way to make sure they find us is to take those tickets with us.
Let them know that we know what they know.
Leave a little note. Hey, fam.
I don't know that we want to go giving them the idea we've been snooping through their stuff, even though they've been snooping through mine.
Yeah, but see, I feel like it would unnerve them a little bit if you wrote them a note and left them where the tickets are supposed to be, and we just took the tickets.
Now, hear me out. What if we write the note and it says "buzz off"?
I'll be for it. Let's do it. Tegan is practicing the G from the paper to get it right so they could be buzz off and side with the G.
Yeah. You know what? Let's go ahead and leave him a little note. Mm-hmm. And we'll leave him that very intimidating note. Signed G.
And you finish up in there and you close up the hotel room. Properly lock it, of course. And as you're heading out...
How do you know how to do the lock so well?
I used to read Sherlock Holmes when I was a kid.
Uh-huh.
and
very popular in the city. When you're bored, you just pick some locks once in a while and, pass the time.
That is one way to pass some time. And when you finish up, you're coming down the hallway and the porter's like, did you find your room okay, sir?
Sure did. Thank you very much for the trouble. And I'll take out the cheapest coin I have from Benny and hand it to him. A penny. Perfect.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. And he puts it away.
I will follow that with an actual decent tip once the doc has gone down the hallway.
Okay. And you head outside, and Tegan, you get this. You see it out by the wood line. You see Benny kind of meandering towards y'all. But they're kind of walking wrong, like.
Can we also say the bee is now on my nose?
And the bee lands on you, Walter.
Mm-hmm. Does it behave differently when
It does. It behaves odd.
Is this Benny in human form or Benny in fox form?
Yeah, it's Benny in human form.
Okay. Well, I think the kid got into something.
I guess I'm not sure how much information I'm able to glean from the bee acting strangely, but I guess how much detail am I able to get from the bee?
You know that bees are really good at telling other bees how to follow them with a dance.
What kind of dance is this bee doing?
a dance to tell you where something is. Something that only a beekeeper with the bees would understand.
Would I be able to follow where the bee wants me to go?
You ain't never done it, but maybe.
I would certainly be willing to try. And I kind of look to Benny.
You don't see Benny out there.
What?
Only Tegan sees Benny out there.
Oh, okay. I missed that
I knew it.
I missed that detail. Okay. I would like to attempt to follow the bee then.
All right. You see Walter start heading to the left while Benny is kind of meandering from right ahead of you. And Professor Hayes, you are just watching this, or?
I think Tegan just assumes that Walter could also still see Betty, so he's gonna whistle real loud to get Betty's attention.
And Benny kind of looks up. Her face looks like it's in shock. And you realize you are seeing kind of through Benny.
I'm gonna walk over to the Benny spirit, I guess, and just like put my arm around the place where they are and just kind of like gently guide to follow Walter.
Yeah, your arm kind of goes through while you kind of gently, and she's looking at you as you dumbfounded. Eyes are just glazed over and confused. And the bee is like buzzing around trying to get you to follow Walter the other direction. Or when you see Walter look confused for a moment, you see Tegan put her arm around nothing. And
what is it?
Oh man, the birdie's gonna be so mad at us.
Tegan, what are you doing?
How to explain? So I live out in the woods by myself, and Benny's here, but not. I don't know how to else to. They're here, but not here, but also here, but also see through here, but also still here.
Invisible?
Not quite. That's more solid.
Benny!
Don't ask me how.
Benny! He starts yelling.
I'm just gonna like snap in front of where I see Benny's face to be.
And Benny's eyes, they open wide and just stare at you, Erwin, and you don't see Benny though. And this is where we're gonna break.
Betty, did you eat the mushroom?
Did I die?
You
Do I have to wait a week?
You separated your soul. You know, who knows what that would do.
God damn it, Betty, now I gotta attach your soul back.
The mushrooms.
It's a fun drug.
I told you only eat half of one.
It was a fox. What was I supposed to do?
The dosing is different for foxes.
Yeah. Gonna go back to Gazzy's again, I guess.
Gazzy's gonna be like, not these again.
All right, we'll see you in a week. Thank you for joining us tonight, and we'll get to see the repercussions of mushroom ingestion soon enough. And who knows what's going on with the beehive, G? Who knows? All right. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you in a week.
Bye.
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 Burning rock, crackle smoke out of the mountain's mouth, hollowed by a cut, by a slash, by a fiery blow. Running through the valley like it's running through my veins, while red-eyed crows keep watch underneath the blood-red moon. My slunch white soul cries out to rise up dark mountain stone. Cut hard from the dark mountain stone. Cut hard from the dark mountain stone.